The Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films just announced the 51st annual Saturn Awards. See how our favorite Star Trek shows stacked up. Coming up on Cena Nerd Presents Blur Trek now. Greetings, nerds. This is Will Polk, host of Cena Nerd Presents Blur Trek and co-host and producer of the Cena Nerd podcast with the host, Sarah Belmont. Thank you so much for joining me on this latest edition of Cena Nerd Presents Blur Trek. I'm going to be sharing with you the exciting news about how well our Star Trek shows did with this year's nominations of the Saturn Awards. Now, the Saturn Awards were set up to recognize outstanding achievements in the genre. It's established by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, and it was set up because traditionally our genre programs, movies and films, were left out of the traditional awards programs like the Academy Awards and the Emmys and others. So the Saturn Awards were set up to recognize the genre. And this year, the nominations were announced on Wednesday of this week, and as of this recording, and the ceremony itself is going to be the 51st annual award ceremony. It's going to be held on February 4 of 2024, and it is going to be streamed live on electricnow.tv. So all fans will be able to see it, not only follow it on your socials, but you'll also be able to watch it as the ceremony takes place. I'm very excited about to share with you how well our Star Trek shows did here on Cena Nerd Presents Blur Trek. We did very, very well as far as Star Trek fans with the representation in the television medium this year with nominations. The window, just so you know, for this year's nominations for the 51st Annual Awards is from July of 2022 to July of 2023. So with that, without further ado, I'm going to share with you how well our Star Trek shows did. Now, if you want to see the full list of nominees, I'm going to put that down in the description below on this video so you can see how well Star Trek did in relation to other shows in the genre. And of course, this year there's a pretty, well respected group of shows like The Last of Us and or House of the Dragon, among others. So with that, let's jump right into the first show that I want to highlight, and that is Star Trek Picard Season 3. Star Trek Picard Season 3 led all categories as far as television shows and science fiction with a total of 7 nominations. That's right. We got 7 nominations in Star Trek Picard Season 3. Let's go into detail what those 7 nominations were. Of course, it got nominated for Best Science Fiction Television Series. Patrick Stewart was nominated for Best Actor in a Television Series. Jonathan Frakes was nominated for Best Actor in a Television Series. I think we can all agree that Frakes put in probably some of the best work, not only as actor but also director as well. But really, as far as in the franchise, I think this is probably some of the best work he has done as Captain Riker or Commander Riker, depending on when you are on the Star Trek timeline. But that was those nominations. Also nominated was Ed Speleers, who played Jack Crusher. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Television Series. Todd Stashwick, who played Captain Shaw, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Television Series. He was phenomenal as Shaw, and really was great there to mix things up and to see where we first saw him from episode 1 to what it ended, how the series ended. Tremendous work by him as a supporting actor in this ensemble cast. Jerry Ryan, who plays Seven, was nominated for Best Supporting Actress in a Television Series. Again, I think she probably put in some of the best work as 7 and 9 in this 3rd season of Star Trek Picard. And then Amanda Plummer, who played Badek, and was nominated for Best Guest Star in a Television Series, and she did tremendous work as well. So, as I noted, Star Trek Picard season 3 definitely got a lot of proper recognition for the third season, and their fans all around really felt like this was a good ending for this cast. And of course, we're all hopeful that Paramount will greenlight Star Trek Legacy and see the further adventures of the crew of the rechristened Enterprise. So with that, we'll move to our next show that was nominated, and that was Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, Strange New Worlds season 2 was also very well received by the fandom, and also took a lot of risk creatively at having everything from musicals to really great storytelling with time travel and all those kind of things. So let's jump in to see who was nominated for Strange New Worlds season 2. So the show itself was nominated for 6 nominations, and one of those being the best science fiction television series. So yes, it is going up against Star Trek Picard. So we do have a little head-to-head competition there within the family. Anson Mount, who plays Captain Pike, was nominated for Best Actor in a Television Series. Ethan Peck, who plays Lieutenant Spock, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Television Series. Jess Bush, who plays Christine Chappell, was nominated for Best Supporting Actress in a Television Series. Celia Rose Gooding, who plays Uhura, was nominated for Best Actress in a Television Series. And Paul Wesley, who joined the cast as Lieutenant James Kirk, was nominated for Best Guest Star in a TV series. And I have to say, I know a lot of folks were not as thrilled with him in season 1 when he first appeared, but I think over the course of season 2, I really dug his portrayal of James Kirk and his take on the character. So that is the nominations for Strange New Worlds. And as I noted, definitely the show did take some real creative leaps in this season, including having a crossover with our other show on Paramount Plus, Lower Decks. And speaking of Lower Decks season 3 was nominated for the best animated television series or special in this year's Saturn Awards cycle. So it was great to see that recognition for that show. I think hopefully that the show will continue to go on and on. It just gets better each season, and really enjoying it. Also, the Saturn Awards has a category for home entertainment, and the Star Trek The Motion Picture The Director's Cut 4K edition was nominated for Best 4K Home Media Release. So all told, Star Trek, between the shows, the animated series, and the home entertainment division, got 15 nominations in this year's Saturn Awards, which I think is really a testament to creatively how amazing work that the folks in front of the camera, as far as our actors, are doing, but also behind the camera and in the writers' room, and our showrunners are doing with the series. So let me know what your thoughts are as far as how well you think Star Trek is going to do with the upcoming Saturn Awards, especially given the competition that it's up against. And let me know if you think anybody got left off the list that should have been nominated, as far as some of the actors. I was really surprised that Gates McFadden, quite frankly, wasn't listed as a nominee this year. But with that, now that we have the nominations, let's just sort of see how things stack up lifetime as far as Saturn Award nominations. Now, Collider.com did a great little chart, and I borrowed that from them. And we can see that Star Trek, the original series, only had 1 nomination. The animated series has had 2. Next Generation, 12. Voyager, 14. Deep Space Nine, which is my personal favorite, 9. Enterprise, 15. And I have to admit, when I saw that they had 15 nominations, given that they were only on for 4 years, That's pretty impressive when you think about it. When the other shows in the Berman era had 7-year runs, Discovery had to date has 14. Strange New Worlds to date has 10. Lower Decks 2. Prodigy, unfortunately, has none at this point, but given that the series has gotten a second life on Netflix, I'm hopeful that we'll see that number go up to plus to one next Saturn Awards cycle. And then Star Trek Picard, but with the 7 nominations, this cycle is now up at 10 nominations. So um, that's where everything stands lifetime with Star Trek and the Saturn Awards as far as on the television side. So with that, that is all I have for this edition of Cine Nerd Presents Blur Trek. But be sure to like and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of Blur Trek or our main Cine Nerd podcast show that drops weekly as well. And we get into all things genre related on our show. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, www.cinenerdpodcast.com. Live long and prosper.